welcome back to the kitchen table. Today on the kitchen table it's part 2 of our brief look at the 3DR Solo. And getting briefer, I've only got this thing for a few days and it's raining again, never mind. So this is going to be part 2. We're going to look in a bit more close-up detail at the transmitter and some of the functions on there, and then we're going to look at the app. And then obviously in part 3 we're going to go out and have a bit of a flight. Although the forecast is looking such that I'm going to be lucky to get a window. So it might be a short flight, but we'll do our best to give you some ideas. So yeah, let's go and have a look at those things. Now the first thing that happened when I got it all out and put it up together was a firmware update was required for both the transmitter and the aircraft. And this was a really, I wasn't expecting this. I hadn't noticed that there was a new one, but it automatically told me, and this gave me a good way of seeing what that process is like. And I have to admit, it's very slick. No messing about with SD cards. It's all done over Wi-Fi. You log on to Wi-Fi, you download the file, then you log on to your aircraft, and then it's all transferred to the transmitter to the aircraft. And it took about 2 minutes in total. Very slick, very impressive. No intervention from me. Just leave it, and it's fine. So yeah, that was really good. Let's go and have a look at the others. And I did forget to say, I have to apologise, it's really late again. I've had quite a few late nights. I've had loads of stuff on, so I apologise. But I did forget to say it's nightcap time for me. So this is Jack Daniels. So let's go and have a look at the transmitter and the app, and I'll see you in a minute. Cheers. Hello, so here we are looking at the transmitter, the controller, in a live kind of situation here. You can see that the piano black, of course, means it's very shiny, but having said that, this little screen is quite bright. Some things I immediately like, and it's growing on me, this transmitter. I thought the original sort of width was a bit odd for me, but things I really like, haptic feedback. It's got quite a strong vibrate function in it, which means that if it needs to get your attention for some reason, it just kind of bzz, bzz, you know, like a really strong mobile phone kind of vibrate function, and it means you easily and very quickly know that it wants to tell you something. I like that a lot. So we've got here signal strength, battery power for the controller, the number of satellites. So actually you could fly this thing without an app, and it's got the main information here. We've also got some presets here, cable, cam and orbit. And yeah, it's pretty good. If I press and hold the fly button, bzz, we get a buzz, and we hold fly to take off. And then immediately we've got a very good display that says, look, flight battery, home, how far you are away, altitude, how far you are away, satellites, everything's there. It's buzzing around outside with no props on. And I like this a lot. Ergonomically, again, I'm quite enjoying the feel of it. It's nice and light. It would be heavier, of course, if we had the tablet on the top, but as we know from before, that's broken. So this function with the screen, the haptic feedback, I'm really enjoying. Other things I really like about it is you know, you get this instant feedback as well, what angle the camera is at, and then you've got presets. So I can press my preset button and immediately go back to the angle that I've preset, look, and you can then change the sweep time. So it's a slow sweep, or so you can really, this has really been, you just get the feeling with this transmitter, it's been really, there you go, and we're up to our preset angle of 86. And if we go all the way up, it gives me a buzz to say I'm at the extreme, a buzz to say I'm at the extreme. You can feel that happening. You know your level. You don't have to look at this angle. You don't even have to be looking at the app. I like that. It's sort of been set up, I think, immediately for aerial video, aerial photography, to do all the things you want it to do. But it's also interesting that, you know, there's enough here that if you have an issue with the app, you actually could fly it quite happily with that. You know what the angle is. Okay, you're not going to get a preview image, but just the fact that everything is shown on here, I really enjoy. So yeah, so far a thumbs up from the transmitter. We'll go, obviously we need to go and see how it feels in flight, but just the layout and everything else, so far so good. So here we are, we're looking at the Solo app. This is running on my Nexus 7, the good old Nexus 7 2013 that I use for the DJI app. We'll just have a look. It's pretty self-explanatory actually. We have a settings button, which will take us into things like showing us updates and what units we want everything to be in. Do we want voice alerts and so on and so forth. But the first thing you've got to do is connect it, and we're not connected at the moment, and I want to show you one of the things that you need to do first is we need to do some map caching. So you can cache the maps quite easily here. You just load up wherever you are or where you're going to be flying. Pan and zoom and press to save. There you go. Ding, 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 ding. So while we're on my home Wi-Fi, it's going to save and cache that, so that if you have a non-cellular device, then you can obviously do this first before you go out into the field. The next thing we need to do is connect, and this is basically forming a Wi-Fi connection. Go to your settings. There we go. We're going to find it. Oh look, it's called SoloLink Colin. How appropriate. We'll connect to that. We've already put a password in. It is password protected, interestingly, which you can change. So we'll obtain an IP address from Colin. We are now connected. Click to resume. This is running Android, of course, on my Nexus. And there we are. That's the view outside of the garden. If we adjust the tilt on the transmitter, ooh, hello stone floor. Hello grass, hello trees. Now this is outside, I'm inside, so there's going to be some bits and pieces, but you get the overlay and so on. We drag across, we get that map view. I don't think I zoomed in enough, so the caching didn't work. That's something I've got to get my head around, but effectively if we had that cached up properly, then you'd see your map over here. You've got your picture in picture, you tap on that, you go to and fro. That's how you sort that out. We've got direction from home point, height, battery status, and then obviously you've got this green clapperboard here. This accesses your different flight models: the selfie mode, the cable cam, the orbit mode, and the follow modes. Nice, big, you can just see everything on there at the moment. I mean, like I say, it's between a couple of brick walls, but there's a pretty good quality of downlink there. It's all there, and you can see what settings your GoPro's at. You can see the GoPro sort of battery settings behind there, all overlaid. Yeah, not bad. So if we want to, we can tap anywhere here and get some extra information. So if we tap here, look, we've got battery voltage, battery amps being drawn. The data connection, how many sats you've got, what your ground speed is, and all that kind of jazz. So there's some additional functions there, which is quite nice. If we go into settings, what we can do here, now that we're linked into the Solo, we can change the name of the Wi-Fi, what our controller style is, the performance of the aircraft. So look, camera pan and flight speed, we can actually, decide to be a little bit more outrageous. Altitude limits can be set, return to home altitude, and you've got presets on your controller, the preset A and preset B, do all sorts of calibrations. In advanced settings, we can add advanced flight modes. And then if we go back into Solo, we've got some extra modes. Okay, so now we've got lots of different modes that we can now fly in manual with no GPS. We can fly in stabilized mode where it'll keep it, it will hold direction, but hold sort of level, but you're in control of height, and manual mode is the other way around. And then we've got acro, drift, and sport mode. So yeah, some more advanced kind of speedy things for you to play with. So yeah, the app seems fairly well laid out. I need to get my head around the caching, the maps properly, but that's kind of the deal. Again, I'm going with no manual because there wasn't one included. It's all kind of, I've not done any kind of prejudging of this. It's kind of seeing how intuitive it is, and so far, not bad. It looks good. It seems to be easy to get to everything you want, and it's again a nice uncluttered big picture
because you've got the extra information on the transmitter, I quite like that. It means you can have a glance, see that your frame shot is framed okay, but then you can keep eyes on the aircraft, or just a very small and bright information screen that gives you the sort of basics of what you need. All good so far.
So there we go. A brief overview. Some of the things that I didn't like, and I'm only testing this with Android, remember, and also I had no instruction manual, and they just, as I said, this was a demonstrator, as you know, but I deliberately kind of didn't go actively looking for instructions because that's part of the sort of intuitive test, isn't it? On Android, at least, you cannot control the GoPro settings, which was a kind of promised feature other than shutter, start, stop, record. So that was a bit of a disappointment. So you have to set your GoPro manually at the moment. But other than that, I thought the layout of the app was pretty clear. The view you got, the main kind of downlink view is very good. It fills the whole screen. You can easily see what you're doing. I like the way that when you flip to the map mode, you get the picture in picture. That's all good, but the map isn't there all the time. You kind of clear it out of the way. Transmitter I really liked. I do like haptic feedback, the buzzy thing that lets you know. I'm really quite a fan of that now. So yeah, there's some things that aren't quite finished about it in the app. But it shows quite a lot of promise. There's a lot that could be in there, but it doesn't seem to be there yet. It'd be interesting to see whether or not that sort of lack of promise of a few things also goes over into the flying side of it. But fingers crossed for a bit of weather, we shall find out. But anyway, thank you very much indeed for watching. If you've been supporting the channel by buying one of my supporter mugs, by being a channel patron, you guys are really cool, by giving a donation, or by just liking and sharing and that sort of thing, I really appreciate it. And to the 40% of you that don't use ad blocker, thank you very much indeed as well. But anyway, if you would like to support the channel, there are lots of ways you can do it down in the description, most of which don't cost anything, some of which do. But however you choose to support, I really appreciate it. And I will see you again soon back here on the kitchen table. Until then, cheers.